Ok, laku noć, dobar dan, buenas noches. Good evening, my brothers. Are the ladies a mystery to you? Are you a successful, intelligent man, but confused by the girlies? Does your personal life lag behind your professional life? Is it the one piece of the puzzle that is missing? Is this just the one factor authentication that you can't figure out? The code to the girlies, yeah. The code, the lock to the underwear. What was it called? That they call it like a thing they used to wear in medieval times over their pants. What was it called? The chastity belt. You don't have the keys to the chastity belt. Is it something you just racked your brains with, maybe for years? Hey, Mahid, thanks for the compliment, mate. I'm glad you're finding it useful. Whereabouts are you based? But yeah, is this part of life just something you can't figure out, man? Is this part of life something you can't figure out? Just can't figure it out. They just can't figure it out. Oh, Canada, nice. A lot of men have this issue. They just can't figure stuff out. And I actually think intelligence is initially a disadvantage with. Let me just check my reception. 1 second. Be 1 second. No, I don't want to cancel. Okay, let's just. Okay, this will be stable now. This should be stable. I'm wired in now. I got attacked by the Chinese. Putla attacked me. So yeah, why intelligence initially can be a bit of a disadvantage for guys. So I was just saying that while I'm working, there are times when I can take these little breaks, 15, 20 minutes, and my mind, I just can't stop. So I find myself digging into things. And actually, it's something I already knew, but just yesterday I was looking at a paper on the physical structural differences between male and female brains. CD, how you doing, mate? On the differences between male and female brains. And the structural differences are pretty significant between the two brains. Men have bigger brains, and the structural differences are quite significant as well. We've got more deep connections within each side, within each hemisphere, and women have got more connectivity across hemispheres. And if you think about how that plays out behaviorally, just on a very basic level, you know, women having the ability to multitask and things like that, we tend to do very well when we're focused, we're task focused. And men just generally being, it's really much more men who typically will go very, very deeply into something. You know, it's not a coincidence that like the first thesaurus, the first encyclopedia, like these feats of immense study and like decades of scholarship, they were done by men. You know, most of this intensive kind of sciences as well. It kind of intensity in all directions, it tends to be more of a male thing. But it does also say there's a spectrum of brains, so you know it's descriptive, it's not prescriptive. But the point is, they really do experience the world in a different way to us. Okay, totally different, and they evolved along different evolutionary lines to us. So we're evolved in a certain way, they're evolved in a different way. We're evolved to select in a certain way, and they're evolved to select in a certain way. What's up for me? So yeah, so they're evolved to actually select in a different way to us. So when you're young, for me and my brother, because I'm eating a banana, I'm eating and talking, and I'm also lecturing as well. But when you're young, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I remember being a young guy, 15, 16, 17. I just went for girls. Like I definitely went for it. I didn't understand them. I didn't really care either. but I would observe things over time, and I found it quite funny, but I just didn't really get what they were about. Um, I'd also observe like my sister and her friends, and that was quite funny as well because I'd observe them, and I was like, I concluded about 2021. They were younger than me, but I was like, you guys may want whatever you say you want or don't want. You definitely don't want happiness. You definitely don't want that. Because I'm here, I'm chilling. What I want to do right now, I was in my studying phase. All I want to do is study to be successful at that. Maybe do a bit of gym as well. But I was like 90%. All I give a fuck about is becoming smarter and knowing more, getting out of my ignorance into something worthy. And so I just wanted to study, and but be happy as well. Be happy. And I would see them with their endless petty little dramas and the way they would get all excited about a guy that made them cry and stuff like this. I'd be like, I just didn't get it. I know, for example, if I was around a girl and she did something which I thought was genuinely disrespectful or somehow marginalized me in some way, that I wouldn't want to go back to that. I'm not looking for drama. I'm looking to get away from that. Fuck you. I'm actually, my brain is more like, well, I've put a little tally by your name now, so I'll still deal with you, but that's in there now. That's in there. I might even get a little bit of revenge on you. Yeah, yeah. Um, when will we change? Get the fuck off my life, you fucking bum. Get off my life, you absolute loser. Let's get this guy out of here. Get out. Banish you. I'm not crying, you little rent boy. You little pussy. These people are just so stupid. They get onto a live where they're fucking 90 IQ and they think they can tell me what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a mystery, okay? I'm not at all moaning about women, okay? This is what the midwit cretins don't understand, the buffoons of this world. No, I'm just talking about what they are as a creature, what they are as an entity, okay? They're an entity, especially when they're young, they love all that dramatic shit. They love it all. And the more rich they actually are, the richer the country, the less they have to really be concerned. So the more they can dive into all the drama and bullshit. So I could see that from quite a young age. I'll come to your question in a minute, mate. That's a really good question, mate. So yeah, so but by the way, that's a phase with women. They're not like that the entire time they're alive. Like they do also mature as well. But I just observed that at a young age. I was like, okay, they're not like me. Yeah. And when I was like 16, 17, the girls that were going out, they were going out with like 25-year-olds. I was like, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just doing my thing over here. Yeah. There was no such thing as an incel in my time period. So we never felt that it was quite uncommon that a guy was getting loads of girls when he was a teenager. Okay, this was pretty uncommon. You'd have girlfriends and things like that, but it was pretty rare. There was like one or two players. 1 in 100, one or two out of every 100 guys would be players. That was pretty rare. Most guys would have a girlfriend, and that was kind of how it was, or just no one. But a lot of guys would have girlfriends. There's some great questions coming through. I will get to them. So anyway, so we grow up, and yeah, it all kind of makes sense. I've done a lot of work with both men and women. Our brains are obviously very different. They're clearly different. They evolved along totally different lines. We select along different lines. Okay, great. We've established that. What does that actually mean? What does that actually mean for you as an intelligent guy? What can you do? Because I find intelligent guys, intellectual guys, what they need is they need an intellectual pathway laying out for them to understand women. Yeah, some like dumb guys, they can kind of get it on vibe, and some intelligent guys can as well, and women can get each other on vibe. But intelligent guys, often, they need to understand it in almost a systematic way. So the best thing I would recommend guys doing is looking into evolutionary biology. There's a ton of stuff on evolutionary biology. Let me just give you some I'll just rattle off some basic stuff. I actually dated a lecturer who was a psychology professor about 5, 6 years ago. We dated for like maybe, I don't know, a couple months. Then she sacked me off because I was not I was not a long-term prospect. So she sacked me off, which by the way is something that women will do. By the way, this is another thing. Well, I may as well go into this now. Some guys get sacked off by women after like 4, 5, 6 weeks, and you think, man, I gave her an absolute scene to. We're getting on well. What's the issue? What's the issue? And she sacks you off, right? And what happened? What can happen, and often happens, or even after a week or two, and you're thinking, there is no way. Like that sex was fucking heroin level, right? That sex was some addictive level sex. There's no way that like we get on well. What is this girl's issue? And this is what happened to me when I got past 30, about 31, is actually those girls no longer see you as boyfriend material. They see you as shag material. That's interesting. They might even float the girlfriend thing out there, but they kind of coming in thinking you're a shag guy, you're a fuckboy. And if unless you change their mind, they're gonna bounce quickly. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. Yeah. I'll come to all the questions, dude. But it's really interesting. So I said to one of my friends when it first happened to me, a girl said something along the lines of like, she said something along the lines of, I'm just using you as a whore or something like that. And I was like, that genuinely had never happened to me before. I never saw myself as like, because for me, that was actually like, I was like, yeah, I can get a girlfriend, but I want them to see me as a sexy guy, the guy they turn to get a session. I wanted them to see me as that because I thought that was more, I don't know, just better, more desirable, right? You want to be the guy they're burning with desire for. And there's a girl who's like, yeah, she saw me as a rebound fling or something like that. And I was like, she said it to me and I was like, it didn't compute at first. And then it did the day after. I told my friend and he was like, yeah. And this is a guy who was more experienced than me. He was very, very experienced, very young. And he's like, yeah, it's weird when they first say that, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it was weird. Yeah. So yeah, they will actually categorize you along those lines. I mean, men, we kind of will do the same thing to some extent, to be fair, but it was just interesting to be suddenly put into that category from being like the boyfriend or even before that, like overlooked or the goody two shoes or whatever I was, just kind of normal, really. But then to be known as like, that's the guy to 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 get my underweight with for the girl. It's not that I stayed that way forever, but like it was interesting. And those were girls that decided that without me. There was no conversation. There was no here's how it is. Here's the life I'm living. It was just they already knew that I was living that life because they met me in that life. And yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of like it was on me to prove really that it wasn't that way. It was on me to prove that I was long-term viable, and I didn't prove that, so they moved on. It's interesting because you're like, as a guy in your brain, you're thinking, well, if everything was good about my performance or whatever, everything was good, you're thinking, well, why wouldn't you stay with that? It's like, nah, they want stability as well. Excitement and stability, they want both. They want both. And some girls, like, they do need the excitement, but they also need the stability as well. If you're just providing excitement, 0 stability, -10 stability, the girl has got to provide her own stability. And a lot of girls, they want to be provided with both. So to answer your question, Moed, there, how do you become the guy she wants to keep around? If you're looking for more of a girlfriend, the real magic is when you're providing excitement, be that just adventure, good sex, whatever, naughty sex, whatever, and some future planning and stability at the same time. Okay, that shouldn't come like within the first 6 weeks. It should just be implied. You keep your cards a little close to your chest a little bit, and they do as well. Not too much, but you just maybe you broach it here and there. But if you want a girl to stay around for like a year without mentally screwing her up, and you want to be with her, then that's what you want. You want excitement and future projection, future stability. And when you start planning stuff with the girl, that's a definite, clear sign to her that you want her in your life. Okay, so if you do, that's what you should do with her. Um, I'll go to your other question now. Do you feel like you tolerate less bullshit from women after getting an abundance dating life? Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm also older as well. I'm 39, and I just literally don't have time for bullshit, dude. I don't have time. I just don't have time. Um, I'm also like, I'm more sensitive over time to what is bullshit and what is just a girl needs to get a bit of an ego trip, man. Like they have an ego as well, and she might just need some ego validation, like to feel that she's important, you know. And that's not always bullshit. If it's like genuinely wasting my time, then fair enough. Um, Let me give you an example of this from this week, from yesterday. It's a perfect segue. So a girl I'd not seen for 3 years. This is how they flutter in and out. A girl I'd not seen for 3 years. I met her during the pandemic, and I actually met her on an app during the pandemic. That was actually, for me, that was the time when the apps were actually all right during the pandemic. We couldn't go out, could we? So whatever. Had some contact with her, and then like 6 months later, I was in her country. She was in a foreign country. I put it on export. I was actually in her country. I was like, you know what? I'm actually in your country. So we continued to go back and forth just every now and then. And then one day, and speak to her for ages, then out of the blue, she messaged me. She was, "I'm coming to your city next tomorrow." I was like, "Okay, let's meet." So this girl, the first time I met her was the next day. She just came over to my place and we just chilled, and I showed her some kizomba. I was like, remember that dance I was telling you about? Yeah, this is what we do. I didn't pull or anything the first time, but then she messaged me afterwards. She was like, "Yeah, my pussy got wet when I was dancing with you." Um, I was like, "Okay, well, a mental note." So then she came back the next week, and then she came back a couple of weekends in a row. There's a whole episode about that girl I could do on that particular girl, because there's a whole story about that. But she was one of those where it was obvious to her that I was not a boyfriend material. And so she sacked me off after like 3 or 4 weeks. It was disappointing for me because I was like, she was good, but we had a great time and I got it. I'm not stupid. Like I was like, because she was telling me she wanted the next guy she dated, she wanted to be a husband, and obviously that was not going to be me. So, yeah. But anyway, she got in touch yesterday, no, a couple days ago, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not messaging you back like straight away, so I messaged her back the following day, and I was quite short with her, and then I was like, okay, and she's messaging me back. She's making an effort. And then at a certain point, she was kind of like, okay, well, nice to speak to you. And she also changed her photo to a way hotter photo on her WhatsApp picture, from like a work photo to like almost a porno photo. And I'm like, okay, I've given her a bit of a hard time because I was like, she's kind of sacked me off. I've made my point now. I've got my ego boost. Now I'm gonna let her get her ego boost. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. She was just wanting a bit of like, yeah, she was wanting me to invest in the conversation a little bit, and she'd given up on trying to get me to invest. So by the end, she was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna give up now." That was like, she'd in her mind, she was making a big effort in a sense by reaching out, or she was putting herself out there by reaching out. And then I wasn't validating that. And eventually I'm like, okay, I've made my point. Now let's talk. Okay, so that's just one example. But girls will they'll play these weird little games for you where they want you to do something or they want you to respond to them. In their mind, they may be putting themselves on the line. It's not actually bullshit. They're not used that. You don't get women going and doing cold approach. You don't get women like doing what we do as guys. So in their mind, they might be really putting themselves on the line. And if you don't validate that, they'll usually buzz off. They'll usually buzz off. That's not necessarily bullshit though. That's just their womanly world. Yeah. And I could give more examples on that, but they just do these little things. So let's have a look here. So do I feel, yeah, so less bullshit. Sometimes I can, if anything, I can be personally, I can be a little bit too quick to pull the trigger on just like fuck, just bounce, bye, peace. ciao. I can be too quick to pull the trigger with that, and I have been in the past. Because I've realized as I've got older, it's not always bullshit, bruv. Sometimes just calm yourself down. Just let them do their little thing. Don't say anything. Just let it roll. And it might just be they need a bit of an ego thing for themselves, right? Just let that happen. Then you can deal with them. Whereas before in the past, I'd just be like, I'd literally sometimes say like, I'm not putting all this bullshit. Get lost. I'd be much more brutal in the past. But yeah, as time has gone on, sure, as time has gone on, because I've been developing. I did my first nighttime cold approach when I was 15. That's 24 years ago. So I've been developing since then, and obviously it's not been anywhere near a straight line. It's been like more like that. It's been more of a, increasing recently with the daytime. So yeah, it's a process, man. It's a process, and being able to identify what is bullshit and what is actually legit. What is actually legit. So do you specifically state as such? If so, how do you say it? Women don't know what they want, sleep with them and move on. Okay, if you want to do that, Jess, you can do. How do you not give off gay bestie vibes? Yeah, is that something you're having an issue with? Yeah, this is actually a good question. How do you not give off gay best friend vibes? Some of it can be in your demeanor. So if you don't have, I'm going to say something a bit controversial here. Some Arab guys have quite a camp demeanor in when that's translated across into English. There's just something about it that's just a bit flat and feminine. So yeah, how do you not give that vibe off? I don't really know, dude. I don't really know. I mean, it's not to say you have to be some kind of a meathead who just fucking headbutts the wall every 2 seconds and eats gravel for breakfast. But one thing you should do is you should sexually look at a girl. You should look at her sexually, and you look at her right in the eyes and you imagine you've already slept with her or you're sleeping with her at that point. And that will give off some sexual energy. This is actually gold right now. Try this. Just look at the girl. Imagine you've already slept with her. That'll change your energy in the way you look at her. You can also pay a direct compliment about her looks, about specifically her looks, like her body or her face. Yeah. Now you say the whole gay best friend vibes. Now, one thing you've got to be careful with. Sometimes I would open with a girl's clothes. I say, "Oh, that looks nice. Like your clothes look good," because it's a compliment where it's not too sexual. On the very first open, I've actually noticed subtly there are times I can go a bit too sexual on the open, which is too much. So on the open, I'd go with like clothes, and that's fine for the open. But if you then go back to that later on, then that does start to give off like gay designer vibes, which I've done a couple of times with I think there was a girl, she was a cougar, and I said it to her on the first time I saw her, and then later on I said something again about her clothes or something because it was just like it seemed to be working. So I said it again, and then she was like, "Oh," she's like, you don't seem it, but are you gay? Because you keep asking me about my clothes." I'm just thinking, no, I just thought you were enjoying, I just thought you liked that question. So I said something else about her clothes. So that one's a good one, but then just as a baseline, but then ideally move on to the looks. The best thing to do is say to the girl, "You look amazing today." And then chat, and then you maybe go a little bit more physical on a compliment. The reason it's good to open with a compliment is it's man to woman. I actually don't, especially in a street approach, you've got to open with a compliment because they need to know why they're there. Why am I talking to you? Do I want to sell you something? Oh no, I'm talking to you because I think you're hot. I'm going to say it in a way that seems right in the moment. Sometimes it might just be, "Man, you look so hot." Well, sometimes it might not be. It just kind of depends on how you're feeling in the moment. But yeah, in daytime street approach, you want to go compliment, bang, hit them with the compliment first. You can do that in the nighttime as well. In the night, you can go not indirect, but playful. playfully flirty and dominant, you can do that. In the daytime though, you gotta hit them with a compliment. Jesse, you bounce very quickly. Are you American, Jess? He isn't escalating. He's more likely friend zoning himself. Yeah, okay. These are really good questions, mate. Ozzy, what time is it over there, dude? Yeah, I mean, what I would say, brother, Jesse, is that girls do vary in different countries. I don't know if you've lived overseas a lot. I've lived in 6 countries this calendar year, in the last 12 months. No, 7. For like 1, 2 months, mostly a couple months. And in my life, I've lived in about close to 20 countries. And the variation is enormous. So when someone's like enormous, like they vary probably way more than the men do in terms of obviously men vary as well. But if you're saying that all women are this way or that way, I would sincerely disagree with you. That's just not reality, bro. Australia is not known for having, it's not known as being the top of the list for the most eligible, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard there's some hot girls there, but that's a different thing. Talking about eligible wives. So do you feel the approach should be the same regardless of whether she's a MILF or cougar? Yeah. Yeah. If you like older women, just don't use the word mature. Just say she looks hot. Say she looks hot. Pay her a compliment. Pay her a physical compliment. Go for the physical compliment, bro. And yeah, let me know how you do with it. To be honest, let me know how you do with it. So yeah, just to get back to my point, this is going to be a rambly one today, but that's all right. I was saying before that a lot of smart men, they need an intellectual way to relate to women, to understand what they're dealing with, because they can't get it on vibe. So they need an intellectual way to do it. And that's part of what I'm doing on this channel, is starting to lay down the pathway a little bit for that. I can sometimes be that way inclined myself. And I found sometimes like just finding these little schemas in my mind was helpful. And one of those, for example, they need excitement plus they need stability. It's kind of a seesaw, right? Because how can you have excitement and stability? You almost can't. So it's a kind of seesaw that they're on, right? If you can embody both of those as a guy, the girl she's yours, man. She's yours. She's yours. Like she's gonna fall in love with you. If it's just pure stable, she'll probably stick with you long term, but she might get a bit bored. If you're just pure chaos, pure excitement, she's gonna lose heart and she's gonna bounce. So yeah. So anyway, so that's the excitement, the excitement slash stability seesaw. They need both. Yeah. Where do we go from here? Let's talk about sexual dominance. Let's talk about sexual dominance and sexual submission. This is a very important topic. It's probably the most important topic. I want to cut through all the bullshit, and I want to cut through right into the fucking reality as it is, deep in the girl's hindbrain. I was talking about the different brain structures of men and women, what they're evolved to seek, what we're evolved to seek. We are clearly evolved to seek fertility. Clearly. Yeah, that is why an attractive woman to a man, a 25-year-old, will always be more attractive than a 65-year-old. In almost every case. Like, yes, there's some older women who are more attractive, but like the premium physical, visceral attraction you're going to get, it's mostly going to be towards those younger women. Mostly. There's older women who can be attractive as well, but like we're programmed to shoot for fertility. What I've found as well is when I'm with girls who are like, let's say early mid-20s, who've got very voluptuous bodies, even their fucking pheromones, their scent drives me fucking insane. Like my dick gets fucking hard when they come into the room, yeah, because of their pheromones. Yeah? This is the animal attraction It's underneath all of our evolution, right? We're fucking looking at pixels. This is the animal shit, right? So we're programmed to seek fertility. And honestly, I've had that with a few older women, but it's almost always with younger women. And I've also found it with more a certain body type, like a very curvaceous, strong body type. That just fucking makes me lose my mind. That those pheromones, just like I'm just fucked. Basically, I'm just in. The more sleek, modelish type of girls, I do find them attractive, but it isn't quite the same. It's not quite the same visceral thing. So yeah, so this is sexual dominance. Whenever I see people talking about women, or this, there's a book that's going around the Entourage. There's my boys who are very much into the daytime approach, and it's a good book actually. I think it's called, was it My Secret Garden or something? No, it's not My Secret Garden. It's basically just a book a guy wrote about women. This Canadian guy. You've got to be a bit suspect when a fucking Canadian guy, a Canadian, yeah, Gen Xer is writing a book about women. It's like, bro, you don't realize you guys are the most liberal pussies in the history of humanity. Sorry, guys, Gen X fucking Canadians. But it's a great book. It's a great book. Like overall, he outlines some really good stuff. He outlines this great image of like the pirate, the brigand, like the buccaneer, as being a particularly attractive archetype for women. He speaks in archetypes. But one of the things he doesn't outline, but he's a little bit vain and know-it-all, which is like, I know it's rich coming from me who's on a stream, but I don't think I know it all about women. I know what I know. Well, I don't think I know it all. But the guy's like saying how he knows he can seduce a woman just by how she looks at him, and he looks at her. He knows he could seduce her, but he doesn't. It's like, okay, mate, sure. I'm not sure that's how it works. But he fails to mention in that entire book. He says like, well, women just flutter off. They just flutter off. That's what they do. Like, she's never yours, right? They just flutter off. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, that's because you're a Canadian fucking ponce, bruv. Yeah, they don't flutter off from, like, they don't flutter off from other guys. Put it that way. There's lots of guys who the women never flutter off from, ever. That the women cling on to for dear life, for decades. Yeah. And look at those guys and what do they have? Look at those guys and what do they have? The guys that women cling to. And everyone says, why doesn't she leave him? Why doesn't she leave him? Why is she still with him? She's too good for him. What do those guys have, bruv? Well, a guy who's, the girl who she's very, she's the Mrs. Queen or whatever. But there's a guy she clings to forever. And she does whatever the fuck she basically does as he says. What do those guys have, brother? What do they have? It's not just he cares for her. That is part of it. That's a part of it. Or it can be a part of it. They have dominance, mate. They have dominance. And I guarantee they have sexual dominance. I guarantee. It's the number one thing. It's the number one thing. It's number one. Yeah. Okay, because that cuts through all the crap. Cuts through all the social crap. Cuts through everything. And that's not to say that a woman like this, if you're a package, it's a package deal for them, right? So they love that. They love the sexually dominant guy. But if he's got 20 girlfriends and she wants to have a husband, when she will accept a guy who doesn't have that, yeah? And the guy who doesn't have that, he's never going to know. And his girl's going to come disinterested sometimes or whatever. He doesn't know because he doesn't understand their psychology. And this is the biggest thing that guys are missing. They don't understand the female need for submission. They don't understand it. Nietzsche said it. Oscar Wilde said it. To put it bluntly, what they said was, women are born slaves. That's what they said. Oscar Wilde was a gay, was a gay guy, a gay playwright, amazing writer. Nietzsche was Nietzsche was the first digital nomad, the German incel. Incel who died of syphilis. How does that work? I don't fucking know. He didn't die of syphilis, but anyway, he did have syphilis. Um, but yeah, the way I interpret that is, they were born to be number two, in a sense. They weren't actually born to lead. They're in their most comfortable position, truly. Take away all the politically correct garbage. As an animal, okay, forget civilization, forget everything. As an animal, they are in their most comfortable position when they're being a very strong whatever they're doing, or maybe not strong, but they're just doing whatever they're doing. And they're alongside a guy who is stronger than they are, who is more dynamic, formidable, whatever it is. And that strength can come in many forms. It does not just take physical strength, it's many different forms, but who has something that they can look at, look up to, and respect. I don't give a fuck who the woman is. That's what she wants. Yeah. And the sexual representation of that is sexual submission. That's not to say she can't get on top of you and things like that, but as part of the sex somewhere, she's going to crave submission. Yeah. My friend, the girl I was dating, the lecturer, she's from Colombia. She's a psychology lecturer. We had really interesting discussions, and it was mostly her discussing it rather than me. She said to me, she's like, yeah, she believed in her soul. She's like, all men are a little bit misogynistic, and all women, which I don't agree with necessarily, and all women are submissive. She said that to me, and she's like a professor. Yeah, this chick. So this is, I wanted to raise this theme of sexual dominance because I just think guys, I actually think a lot of modern guys, especially younger guys, they don't get it, and they are not pushing this anywhere near far enough. Yeah, this needs to be pushed way further. Yeah, so learn about it, the whole BDSM thing or whatever. And it's even subtle things like when she just walks over to make something, open something in the fridge, you just whack her ass. Yeah. And then she like laughs and whatever. It's like, it's just an animal thing. Yeah. It's a dominance thing. Yeah. It's they need that physical dominance around them. And you don't have to be a big guy, nothing like that. It's not about that. And in fact, those guys who are like, it's interesting, these very aggressive types of guys, you think, oh, do they get all the girls? The aggressive neighborhood thug, does he get all the girls? Does he fuck? The premium girls, even if they're from his neighborhood, they don't fuck around with guys like that. Yeah. They want a man who's a man, but they don't fuck around with guys like that. You know why? Because they perceive him for what he is, which is a bully. And a lot of women do not like bullies. There's a difference between dominance and bullying, okay? There's a big difference here. Dominance, the way you carry yourself assertively, and actually being a bully. Yeah? And a lot of women don't like that. Yeah, they really don't like it. So again, this is this subtlety and nuance that is just lost in this world of retardation on the internet. Yeah, so I just want to make that extremely clear. I'm not talking about being a bullying thug, not at all. Quite the opposite, in fact. Yeah, think of a guy like from let's go now. This is a medley show, so my brain is just firing. So we're just gonna be going. Think of let's just look at women's romance novels. Who's the number one, probably before Christian Grey? Who's the number one romantic figure from these romantic novels, which, by the way, are the largest selling genre, okay, in literature. Yeah, I have aspirations to be an author, yeah, or like to have a respected book that sold over 1,000 copies. I have an aspiration for this. I finished the book. Let's see how it goes. I've not published it yet, but I've researched, genres and so on, and the most widely circulating genre is female romance. Okay, it's by miles the best. Like, it's by miles the best selling, rather. Basically kept publishing in existence. Yeah. And who's the number one hero, female hero, right? Darcy. right? Think of Darcy, right? The snooty, arrogant, you know, noble aristocrat. Yeah, he's not a thug. He's not going around battering people. He's not fucking top G. He's Darcy, mate. And these women, even now, even in the modern world now, they'll watch like 10 hours of fucking period drama, yeah, to watch Darcy, yeah, because he's socially commanding. He's socially commanding. He's dominant. No one trifles with him because he's fucking loaded and he's powerful, yeah, and he knows his place. He's a British aristocrat, right? So, yeah, but he's not a thug at all. And these women, they swoon over him. He's not even like even a sex god. He's just good looking and just a strong, solid guy with high status, right? So that's one example. Christian Grey is he's another one as well. He's a bit ridiculous. They make him into a 27-year-old billionaire kickboxer BDSM freak. Like, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, but just look at the metrics, guys. Only 50% of the population even bought that book. It sold 10 million copies in England alone. 10 million. Yeah. That means 1 in 3 women bought that book. Just think about that. 1 in 3, bro. Yeah. Okay. They're sending us a message, guys. What is it all about? It's about sexual submission. It's about sexual submission. Remember the girl I was dating at the time, she was quite funny. She was getting bored of it. She said she looked up on the internet which were the good sex scenes. So she looked it up. Then she started reading the good sex scenes and she was like, well, these are crap. And she threw it in the bin. The way she said it as well, she was like, this chick was really weird because she looks Brazilian, but she's properly Yorkshire. And she's like, I threw it in bin. It was absolutely hilarious. Well, she was so fucking cool. What a girl she was. What a fucking amazing girl. But yeah, 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 I mean, fucking hell. Yeah, but anyway, all girls are interested in that. We're interested in that book, and the main complaint from some of the younger girls was it wasn't hardcore enough. Yeah, the BDSM was nowhere near hardcore. They're wanting some Rihanna, Chris Brown level shit. Yeah. Yeah, think about these archetypes. What are women fantasizing about? And a lot of the things that are like, that they put in these novels are like, the guy's like 6'8", he's like a lumberjack, yeah, and he's like got fucking scars across his face. Yeah. Which, by the way, the scars thing, that is actually, there's a paper, which again, this Colombian girl she told me about, there's a paper where for short-term sexual liaisons, a facial scar is more attractive to women. There are short-term sexual liaisons, which is quite funny. Don't do it though. Don't scar your face intentionally. But yeah, yeah. Where was I? But yeah, those figures, those archetypes, you've got to look into those, my brothers. You've got to look into them. Yeah, and yeah, the 6'10" guy. All of that is a physical representation of the fact that what she wants is to be fucking dominated, mate. That's what she wants. Yeah. Don't think your girl's different, bruv. That's a big mistake. Assume what she wants. And what you'll probably find is you'll assume what she wants, and what she'll actually want will be even more submissive than you actually thought. It's going to almost disturb you. You're like, what? Fucking hell. I've got to go. I've got to do what? Jesus Christ. All right. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, so that was a riff there on sexual dominance. Is very important. And as I say, the book, whatever that Canadian author was, I just thought he's like talking about how these girls they get up and leave. It's like, no, they don't, bruv. They leave you because you obviously have one big thing not missing. I can tell by listening to you, you've got something missing. Yeah, and it's that. If you've got that, and you've got a sexual dominance, you don't even have to be good in bed, bruv. You really don't. You don't even actually have to even shag her to do that, You don't even have to shag her. Yeah? And then you've got excitement, plus you've got stability. Bruv, you're 1 in a million in the modern world. And even if you weren't, even if all the other guys were like that, it doesn't matter because she's your girl. She's yours. She's your sub, dude. Yeah. These girls will love you for decades, bruv. They will love you for decades. Okay, if you activate this part of their brain, man. So, what's your thoughts on approaching girls wearing headphones, earphones? Most girls in the gym are wearing headphones. It's very common to see girls wearing headphones in my city. Okay, so I'm going to draw a clear distinction between gym approach and street approach. Gym approach, I personally don't do. You can do it, and guys do it successfully. I admire those guys, but I personally don't do it for a couple of reasons. The main reason is when I'm in the gym, women are actually a distraction. My preference would be to work out in a gym complete. At the moment, I work out in my room here. I've got some shit in my room here. So I'm working out here. But when I'm in the gym, my true preference would be I don't even want to see women. I want to see anybody actually. That would be my true preference, just to be alone in the gym, completely alone. And yeah, I'm so focused on my workout. I genuinely because I want to get the gains, bruv. I want to get these fucking guns. Do you know what I mean? I'm nearly 40, yeah? Trying to get these guns growing. But yeah, so I need to push really hard in the gym. I'm just not in the mood to flirt. But to the guys who do want to flirt in the gym, I would say personally, it is very contextual on the gym and the environment. If it's a very busy corporate gym in a city center, in a city you may be only in for a month or two, I actually would treat that. I'd actually would treat that as a fairly standard cold approach. Like you can burn it, fuck it, just go for it. Chat her up, whatever. And I would go for the normal approach. Bruv, she's listening to music, yeah? And this is the problem with guys is I'm not picking on New Vision because good question. But we've had the same question today in the Entourage, which is a group of cold approach guys that I'm in touch with. People are worried about music, bro. That's the least of my music. You think that's more important than me? I'm coming to approach you. You think some little fucking electronic sounds going into your ears more important than me, who may be the father of your future children? Or at the very least, we could have some a conversation. At the very least, this conversation is for sure more important than what's going on. Whatever bullshit's coming in your ear while you're in the gym. So I think a big part of this is guys need to realize, like, bro, you think anything she is listening to is important? You think fucking listening to, I don't know, whatever bullshit she's listening to is important? It's not important, dude. An approach is the most important thing. An approach is the single most important thing a human, male and female, could be involved in. Yeah. There's a reason why when you do it and you're in a public place, there's a reason why people stare at you. There's two things people stare at: violence and sex or an approach. Those are the two things that everyone, if there's a fight that kicks off, like I was in a mall once and a fight kicked off, big fight kicked off, a fucking great fight as well. Everyone stops when everyone's watching it. Yeah, they start throwing stuff. It was amazing. Yeah, but everyone stopped and watched it. And it's the same with an approach. You'll notice it if you do an approach. I've done them at bus stops. My friend was doing them in a coffee shop the other day, and I noticed that people around it, everyone stops. It's like, the fuck is going on here? Yeah, it's a very important event. Think about it biologically. Man goes to woman. Yeah, this may be the start of a future human being. Does this man have the prowess? Is he the man? Is this woman receptive? Is she attractive to him? This is an important moment, right? So realize that, man. It's no, what is going on in her fucking earphones? It's got no fucking importance whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. Yeah. So don't ever feel like you're interrupting her, but she's not doing anything, bro. There's nothing important happening there. Hey, excuse me. Yeah. I swear, when girls have got earphones on in the street, I just do that. And they just take it off. Yeah. And I truly believe there's nothing that she could be listening to that's more important than what I'm about to say to her, which is to start a conversation. And you never know. You literally never know what could come from that. Even if we went on one date, that's still more important than the rest of her stupid song. So not to be dismissive, like, yeah, okay, whatever. They like to have their music on. So do I. But what we've got to say is more important. So that would be for gym approach. For street approach, it wouldn't even be a factor. I don't give a fuck what she's listening to. Hey, excuse me. Just do that and she takes it off. You look and then we start to go from there. So yeah, don't worry about the headphones, guys. Also, like, guys, just think about what your ancestors had to go through. Yeah, think about what they had to go through. If you're from like wherever you're from, Australia, Canada, it doesn't matter either of those. America. Think about what your ancestors had to go through. We're worried about a girl in headphones. Come on, boys. Fuck the headphones. Jesse, casual, sexy, shallow, and healthy. Alicia, empty. I'm 32, want a friend, but I just never know what happened. Jesse, bruv, this negativity is pathetic. I know it'll never happen. I'm not gonna be nice to you, bruv. You sound like a moaning little girl. Yeah, give me a fucking break. You're 32 years old. If that's your photo, you look more than good enough, mate. You look more than good enough. Okay, give me a break, dude. Give me a break. You can definitely get a girlfriend, bruv. You can definitely get a girlfriend. All right, your country's a bit shit for women, but okay, get your passport, go somewhere else, try a few other places. I'm pretty sure even in Australia you can find somebody, to be honest. But like, let's say that you can't. They are genuinely heinous. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of them, to put it mildly. But let's say that they're not. Bruv, I'm from England. I'm from England. At no point have I ever said, "Oh, I'm never gonna have a girlfriend. It's never gonna happen." That's some fucking a pathetic garbage, bruv. Come on, dude. Come on. Sort yourself out, mate. Sort yourself out. That kind of attitude is just defeatist and garbage. Maybe I'm not seeing the nuances because I'm just seeing text, but all I'm seeing in that text, I'm seeing your face, which is a perfectly decent guy, and I'm seeing defeatism, which I absolutely will not accept. Nonsense. Mohid Nadeem, your body counts in single digits. You haven't had many experiences with women yet that want you easily. Let's have a look at, yeah, bruv. What are you looking for, bruv? I do think, Mohid, if you feel you need to get some experiences out of your system, then go for it. At some point, you realize that's never actually going to end. That drive will never end, bro. There'll never come a point where you go, "Oh, I've shagged enough women." That's never actually going to happen. In my experience, anyway. It's just a point of probably at which you go, well, "I want to do something else." Jesse Burgess. Nothing wrong from paying for it. See, Jesse, you're giving good advice here, mate. So why are you being a defeatist, bruv? You'll be dead before you pay for it. Good man. Good man. I mean, okay. Paying for it. This is a great topic, lads. Great topic. To pay or not to pay. If a stripper counts as a sex worker, then I've been with two strippers. Sorry, I've been with two sex workers. If a stripper counts as a sex worker. I'd say if you're a healthy guy, I don't think it's a great habit to get into. There's a few exceptions, I would say, but I'd even say you probably should sleep with prostitutes in a few cases, but that would be like, these people, like, you're on, fucking, do you know what I mean? You've got some serious physical issues, then I'd say maybe. Or maybe, like, could be a million things, but realistically, I am not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. The guy is getting used probably more than the woman when you're paying for it. I've shagged two prostitutes who didn't charge me because they wanted to have sex with me. I didn't know they were prostitutes. I realized afterwards. I realized one day she goes into her fucking drawers. I'm like, that is an abnormal amount of pegging equipment. That's like a professional fucking level of, I don't even know, like a cornucopia of fucking harnesses for pegging. I'm like, don't fucking get any ideas with me, love. But I was like, that's weird. And then there's like guys who'd ring her and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't give a shit at all. And I realized, like, it did dawn on me like a while later. I was like, oh, she was a fucking prostitute. She was on the game. So yeah, I don't know, whatever guys want to do. Um, I actually think it's a good attitude not to want to pay for it, to be honest. Um, yeah. Jesse, bruv, you're out. You're out, bruv. You're out, bruv. Get out, my fucking. Sorry, dude. I don't like this negative garbage. You're telling people to fucking have sex with prostitutes and stuff. It's not the type of person I want around associating with my channel, to be honest. Um, if people want to do it, that's on them. That's not what we're talking about on this channel, though. We're not talking about like if you're looking to sleep with prostitutes, why the fuck are you on my channel, dude? You can just do that right now. You can call them up. Yeah. I do weird things sometimes. Like when I'm in a new city, I will actually look online and I will have a look at what prostitutes are in the city. I don't know why that is. It's like some weird thing that I do. I'll look around. I'll look at like the local area, like where's the local restaurant. I'll look at all the fucking shit, and I'll even look up what the local escort rate is. I don't go to them. It's just like I think you know what it is. It's a little bit fucked up, a bit of a fucked up thing to say, but it's like it's almost reassuring. It's like okay, the world's gonna end. Okay, that's a little thing I could do with my last day. Like some weird bullshit like that. But no, I'm not. I would generally rather go without as a general habit. It's like these girls getting dicked by like 40 guys like a week. Like that. I'm not. I don't really want to go there. I'd just rather jerk off. Um, Body's very important. Getting that lean or jacked body, it can help a little bit, bruv, but it's not that important to be honest with you. It's not that important. I'm more jacked now than I was a few years ago. I was a little bit fat a few years ago, and I was getting more pussy then. Girls don't. It's not what you think it is, dude. It's not what you think it is. They'll like stroke your belly and shit like that. Yeah. People have been sold all this garbage on the internet, man. They don't understand how women's brains work. Women's brains do not work like ours. Again, come back to that. You look at the Giga Chad who's got 160 IQ and he's a billionaire. You think, okay, I must worship this guy. He's the greatest on all these metrics. It's not how women's brains work at all. Yeah, they might notice that guy, but it might be some other guy, this skinny little dude next to them who's got a good sense of humor. He's kind of playful, but he's also kind of dominant at the same time. He's a bit mischievous, and that just gets them going, man. Just gets their pussy tingling. The Giga Chad's just over there posing, looks maxing himself to death. That's how their brain works, dude. That's how their brain works. Let me tell you a story about this. Let me tell you a story about this. This is a good story from my youth. When I was 21, I moved to Spain, and I decided that I wanted to. You'll notice most of my stories make me look good. No, I think the one actually, yeah, it's because if you know it's like a sex story, it always kind of makes you look good. But I do try and share some other ones. No, actually, to be fair, I've shared some other ones where I don't look that great, like the girls who fucking abandoned me, or the French guy who stole my date and shagged her. It's all the chaos, right? But most of the time, your stories will make you look good because your stories are always good. The ones that wouldn't make you look good. They just don't happen. The girl that rejected you, well, there's no story there, so that it always does make you look good. But this particular one, yeah, this is a good story. This is a good story. So I was 21. I moved to Spain to teach in Madrid. I've got a job teaching in Madrid. I'm buzzing. I'm like, it's just fucking awesome to be there. And I start going out like straight away. I'm like, I'm hitting it. Let's go. Every night I'm going out as much as I can. And I remember one night I went to was the Erasmus night, which is all the international students. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go to these nights because I don't know anybody, but I don't want to get involved with this crew. I don't want to get involved with the Erasmus crew. I want to meet real Spanish people and improve my language. But at the end of the day, I've only been here 2 or 3 weeks. I need to meet as many people as possible. And so the first night I went solo. And back in those days, I'd have in my mind it was a bit weird to go alone. So I just say, oh yeah, my mate abandoned me. Just say that. If anyone asked me, my mate's just fucked off. It's like whatever. No one really cares. And I remember there was a group of girls there. I thought the girls were Spanish. Actually, they were English. They had like dark hair. I think they were trying to be Spanish or something. It was funny. Girls from Portsmouth, lovely girls, lovely girls. And yeah, one of them, she was like looking at herself in the mirror a lot, and she was like posing in the mirror. And I pointed at her and I started doing this, and then we just had a bit of a laugh, and then I talked to them, and later that later that night, I noticed there was a group of like massively look-smacked Italian guys who were just absolutely staring at this chick, the chick that I'd been flirting with, just staring at her like I hadn't really seen that before. Like there is a way that Italian guys will just stare at a woman like in a hypersexual way, which is actually cool to be honest. It's fine, but at the time, I'm an English guy. I'm not raised with this type of more sexualized culture, and I'm like, what the fuck is that guy doing? That's weird, dude. Like whatever. And they didn't know, but that girl's English, so like she thought it was weird as well. She's not used to men acting like that. She's more used to a guy coming over with a bit of banter. It's not even to say what he was doing was bad, but he was so looks-maxed, this guy. And I remember going past him in a club, and he was literally like just looking at himself in the mirror, like doing like literally like it's so embarrassing. He was doing this with his hair and stuff like this. This is back in the day when I actually had hair. My hair was all right. He was doing this shit with his hair. And I'm just thinking, like, bruv, what are you fucking doing, dude? Like, in the club, not in the bathroom of the club, in the club, staring at himself in the mirror, making an absolute fucking bellend of himself. Obviously, I got that girl's fucking number, and obviously, I was the one seeing her later on. But he was in for her in whatever way he was in for her. I don't. She said something about him when I met her. She's like, "Oh, Italian guy was so fucking weird." So these looks max bros. And there was like five of them. There was like a crew of these Milanese dudes there, fucking looks maxing away, posing away, good looking guys as well, but just such rent boys. And then me, little old fucking English renegade, just went in there. I look decent as well, but I just went in there with some banter, and then we just went from there. And actually, I got those girls out, yeah, like maybe a month or so later on, I don't know. And I was out with two Icelandic friends. This was a great thing. This is a great thing about having older mates. I was 21. These guys were like mid to late 20s. And they were just like, I wasn't sure if this girl was into me or not. And the Icelandic guy was like, nah, dude, that girl wants to fuck you right now. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, dude, like, let's go right now. And he was right. He was completely right. This is the thing of like having older friends who can just tell you how it is. I couldn't read the signs. I had no fucking idea. She's come to the club with her mates. It should have been obvious, right? And then I think, yeah, I went to see her, pulled her and stuff in the club, and she's telling me, oh, she's getting all these butterflies and everything. And in my dumb mind at 21, I'm like, again, this is the male brain. I'm like, I didn't see any signs of what the fuck's even going on. She's in the club. Does she like me? Does she not like me? I can't establish it. I don't understand. These older guys are like, nah, dude, do this. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. The Icelandic Vikings helped me out, man. I think the guy's name was Snorri, if I remember correctly, the Icelandic guy, my wingman in Madrid. It's fucking cool. But anyway, the main point of that story was, yeah, those Icelandic guys, they were such cool dudes. They were fucking cool. They were definite wing bros, man. They were literal pilots. They were training to be pilots. That's why they were in Madrid. But yeah, the point is, these fucking looks max rent boys, they got taken out by me, little old me. Yeah. And I was just normal. Yeah. But I took them out through banter. TV show, sex life changing for sure. Yeah. Think like a winner, body game. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, my only point there, Vision, was don't worry that the whole body thing is way over. It's way overdone. That again, that is somewhat cultural, but men are focusing on the wrong stuff. They're focusing on the wrong stuff. I think the body game, like, how much body game do you need? How much can you go to the gym? Do you know what I mean? You've got a genetic limit. Just hit that limit, and it's not that hard. Just lift to your maximum once, twice a week. That's it. There you go. That's what you can do. Yeah. You can't. You're not going to become Anthony Joshua. Yeah. From you fucking, just from your gym routine. So, social skills really do trump at most things. Most things for most women. Yeah, and you can have a belly on you. If you go to the gym, you can have a bit of a belly on you. They'll just see you as like a bit of a pappy. That's how it is, man. You don't need to be some lean, jacked dude. I mean, yeah. Just having a bit of muscle on you, a bit of resistance can definitely help, though. Can definitely help. Yeah. Just having whatever attractive features you have, just kind of escalate those. Escalate those. Um, yeah. You can be attractive in so many ways. That you can be socially attractive. You can be attractive because you've got an amazing social group. You can demonstrate power in that way. You can be attractive because you've got an incredible mind. You can be attractive because of your achievements. If you combine some attractive features with sexual dominance, excitement, and stability, fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean? You can get a girl. Yeah. Now, cold approach. We're gonna start to wind it down a little bit. Hopefully, this has been a useful stream. I think I've dropped some good info in here. Could go on about this shit for ages, man. Go on about this shit for ages because the received wisdom on women is so all over the place for like the last 50 to 60 years. First, we had the liberal fantasy Marxist equality dream between men and women, which was obviously garbage because it tries to do away with 300,000 years of evolution. Yeah, the blank slate. Okay, garbage. That was garbage. Now we've gone in some mental new direction where we've got people who are literally like, do you think the main influencers, like in the men's space, do you think they're neurotypical? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, so we've got like some interesting brains, right, in our space telling us that women want us to be six billionaires. Yeah, weird how that perfectly funnels us into their programs on how to get rich for $50 a month. Yeah, fucking hell. So that's just bullshit. So the actual real truth for men in the West is like it's been completely perverted all over the place. So what we need is like a voice of reason, yeah, a voice of normality, basically saying, yeah, we're different, we're evolved along different lines, we're sexually dimorphic species. They crave a number of different things, and they can be attracted to a number of different things. We have what we're attracted to, which is fairly baseline, actually, fairly simple. And let's take it from there. Just take it from there. Yeah, we don't need to. I mean, it's just absurd, isn't it? The idea that everyone needs to be rich, that is just it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Like, I guarantee you, most men are richer than their great 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 grandparents were, and by definition, if you're on this channel, your great 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 grandparents had, they reproduce, which you probably haven't yet. So it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, so let's try and bring a bit more normality to this stuff. Yeah, Mohid, yeah. I'm glad I can help, mate. I'm glad I could help. There's some other videos on here as well, mate, on this channel. If you found this live useful, check out some of the other videos. I think for someone like you, bruv, it sounds like you've got some experience and you're just trying to learn. Basically, you're 25, you're trying to learn. I would recommend, yeah, if you're on Ephraim's channel, he's by the way, Ephraim's sick, by the way. This Ephraim, if you're watching this, feel free to snip this up, right? If you are in if you're in California, you should be begging that guy to train you. You should be literally begging him to train you. You should be finding out how you can get in touch with him, and you should be calling him up saying, mate, here is my credit card. Fucking train me, yeah, to do what you can do. To do what you can do. I was with him in Barcelona. He's very modest about this, yeah, but he rolls in on no sleep. I go and see him. He's already in an approach when I fucking meet him for the first time, like an absolute legend. He's just in like every day he's just out approaching, and every night he's meeting up with the girls that he's approaching, yeah? And then they're not meeting up for a bedtime story, right? And he's doing this night after night. Do you know how many guys actually have that level of skill? Actually, that level of sheer grit to be fucking hammering it like after like no sleep, dude. Nobody does, mate. Nobody does. Nobody does. Daytime approach? Are you kidding me? You think how many guys in like continental USA are flying to a different country, are macking, and from the very first day are macking, getting numbers, going on dates, and every single night for like the whole of their fucking trip? Dude, are you joking? Are you joking? That guy's skill is fucking elite, yeah? It's elite, yeah? He was so knackered by like the third or fourth day, he couldn't even go out anymore. He had to fucking relax, yeah. Spanish chicks couldn't keep their fucking hands off him, and it was nothing. It's nothing crazy that the guy's doing. He just fucking knows how to approach, yeah, and he's sharp, yeah, and he gets into it. So if you're in America, if you're in California, fucking call him up, yeah, call him up. Seriously, get in contact with him. There you go. Can you give me a 2-day program plus 90-day supervision? I'll pay you $3,000 for it. That would be a fucking steal, bro. That'd be a fucking steal. Yeah, but I make him the offer. Make him a fucking offer. So yeah, there you go. After him, I've just fucking sold your programs for you, mate. But the guy's very fucking good. There's guys in the Entourage, like the guys in the Entourage are fucking operators, mate. They are operators. Like it's an actual joke. The Entourage is a group of cold approach guys that I'm affiliated to. Ephraim is one of them. He's obviously doing a channel and he's coaching. I am one of them. I'm not exactly fucking. Do you know what I mean? I'm not exactly a virgin. There's a guy called Balthus is one of them. He's got a channel. He's showing his exploits. He's fucking nasty, dude. He's dangerous. And then there's guys who are not even public. Senator Winners in there as well, who's just an absolute joke. Like, he's actually too good. He's actually just too good. Like, he doesn't even have to really do it because he's just actually too good. There's obviously fucking Christian as well, who's just a complete, like, it's a joke, mate. It's an actual joke. We were running around Barcelona, 7 of us, yeah? And, like, that week I was in atrocious condition as well because of some shit that was going on in the background. I was basically working all week on a hectic schedule, not sleeping at all, and then going out doing cold approach all day long. It's completely ridiculous. And then we're just all out like on a constant basis, bruv. We're not a group of friends. We're an army. We're an army. Yeah, we're we're a herd. Yeah. It's a fucking joke, dude. It's a joke. Yeah. So if you can watch any of those channels, mine, Ephraim's, Christian's, Balthus, yeah. If you're in California, see if you can work with Ephraim. If you're elsewhere, you know, I'm running a program. I'm running programs this summer. I'm running immersions this summer. I've got a 3-day immersion plus 90 day supervision, which is absolutely premium. It's absolutely premium. It's getting guys from, you know, essentially in one case, almost literally zero. We're gonna get him to the fucking promised land. Yeah. But yeah, it's basically distilling the knowledge that I show on this channel and installing that into your brain in 3 days. So you're getting like 15 years of my club plus well, not even my first approach was when I was 15, but then hitting it for like 10 15 years as an adult. You're getting that downloaded so fast into your brain in 3 days, plus you're being pushed into approach after approach because yeah, I won't tolerate, like, you know, people not approaching basically. So yeah, you're getting an incredible boost, and then you're getting supervision off the back of that. So I'm not just leaving you out to go into the wilderness. I'm actually reviewing sessions with you and giving you pointers and tips going forward. Because as big as the approach is, the easier you make your life, the better. So you might be doing something like you might have a really shit haircut, you might have really bad breath, and that would be the brutal stuff that I would give to people, right? Or you might have actually poor conversational skills. These brutal things that people sometimes don't know. Very often they don't know. Yeah. So these things as well would also need to be addressed. We just look at strategies for you going forward. So yeah, so that's my program. I do also have a virtual wingmanship program, which is very good for guys who are already on the path and they're already approaching, but they're basically lacking wings. So I know a lot of guys get into this space and they're very solo, and they get into cold approach thinking that's going to allow them to still be a loner and they're going to get girls anyway. This is not a good strategy at all. So which is why I've got Wingbro Virtual Wingmanship. That's a different program. So I've got my immersion plus virtual wingmanship. So if you're interested in those, you can just watch my other videos and just get in touch. There's a Calendly link in a lot of the videos. There isn't on this live. Let me put you Yeah, link them down in the description. Let me just can I actually respond? Hold on. To these messages. I'm not sure if I can. No, I don't think I can respond to the messages. But yeah, if you want to speak to me directly, it's calendly.com/wingbro. Calendly.com/wingbro. If you want a consultation, we can do that. Provided if you're actually serious, then you want to actually invest, in yourself basically and put some time into it and do it with a focus. Um, yeah, we can get on a meeting, calendly.com/wingbro. Um, and yeah, to kind of discuss where you are really, and then which of my programs, there's only two, but which of those programs is going to be more useful for you going forward. Um, yeah, if you're just more here for just a bit of entertainment and just a bit of, maybe just a bit of free info, that's also fine. Just watch the rest of the videos and watch Christian Casanova's videos and Ephraim's videos as well, because they're top guys. And so, yeah, this kind of brings me full circle to my actual passion for cold approach. So this is something I came to later on in life, I would say daytime cold approach. I did my first nighttime approaches at 15. Yeah, Kingdom nightclub, Club Wow. They were under 18s nightclubs in my city, and we'd fucking hit it, man. We'd hit it. We'd do 10 approaches, no problem. 20 approaches. You just went until you got a girl, basically, just like we do now. Yeah, 15 years old. Good training ground, man. Good training ground. I eventually met a girl there as well, and I was with that girl for many years afterwards. So yeah, that was my introduction to cold approach nighttime. And then it was all mostly nighttime from that point forward. And um, I had my fits and starts, man. I would say between the ages of about 20 and 25. I mean, those were just abysmal years in my life, in my personal life. Those were my leanest years by far. My teen years were pretty good because it's quite easy to meet girls and friends and all that type of thing. They were pretty good. Girlfriends and all that, sexual experience and everything. But that 20 to 25 stint, in fairness, that was a dry phase of my studies and career. I was maniacal in my studies and career at that point. I mean, I was a fucking beast. But still, like, you know, yeah, I was not in a good headspace to pull in retrospect. But there was no guidance. There was no guidance like there is today. There was a book, The Game, that started to circulate, but that only made most people worse, including myself. So yeah, I just didn't know what really to do. I just took what I could get when I could get it, which wasn't very much, and it wasn't often, but it was something sometimes. Um, yeah, that year in Madrid was the one year that actually was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. It was all right. Yeah, but even then, like I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. You have a clue what I was doing compared to some people say like men's peak is like 21. I mean, that's just a fucking joke. What I know now compared to what I can do now compared to what I could do at 21, it's not even comparable. Same at 25. It's not even comparable. Not even 27, to be honest. I had a phase at 28 where I was on fire for a bit at 28, but um, generally, the more experience you accrue, the more confidence you get, the better. But mine was all nighttime experience, did a little bit of online, and I came to daytime approach, first of all, organically. When I was living in Latin America, I saw guys doing it. And then I moved back to Europe. I was in Eastern Europe. I broke up with a girlfriend. I started to look around online again, which is every few years I'd come back and online and see if there was anyone any good. I saw a few, there was a few improvements, some people doing a few infields. I was like, okay, what's this? What's that? Let's have a look. I think I maybe bought something off somebody. There was nothing that was really good enough in my impression. And then I think at some point I was in North Macedonia. And then I came across Christian Casanova, and straight away got in contact with him. I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. This guy's going to teach me cold approach, daytime approach. And so yeah, so I went and trained with him a couple months later in Manchester. It's just madness, dude. It's just madness. Like now, the stuff I'm able to do now compared to back then. Like I went back to North Macedonia where previously I couldn't even do an approach, and I went back in January. On my first weekend back in fucking January in North Macedonia, I went out and I fucking wrecked them all. I got like, I think I got like 2 or 3 contacts in that mall and did 6 approaches, which doesn't sound that much, but fucking believe me, it is. It is in the Slavic world alone. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, dude. I've come a long way. Got 3 fucking contacts today from nothing in a pretty difficult fucking location. Yeah. And then I'm back in the UK again, and I'm going around the world, and I've just been hitting it so fucking hard for so long with the supervision of Christian and the Entourage. And now I'm able to bring wisdom to them that I've got because of my other experiences over the years. So it's just this amazing symbiosis. Local Florida man, I do coke. um, last thing I'm gonna say actually. So that was, yeah, that's just my passion for cold approach. It's an amazing thing to learn. You should definitely learn it. It'll make you a better person. It will make you more confident. It'll make you confident to the point of just Herculean confidence. Yeah, it'd be fucking insane, wild, beast level confidence. But it'll also bring you a lot of humility as well. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, because it'll bring you a lot of humility and a lot of humor, because I don't care how good you are, crazy shit, weird shit's gonna happen. Sometimes you get girls who are not so interested, and also you get some really weird things that'll happen in your approaches. But overall, crazy levels of confidence. You have the ups and downs emotionally. If you're actually able to weather the storm, and you've got the guys around you, you've got maybe you're under someone's supervision, you may actually get there to a point. It really, most people will never be able to relate to what me and the guys in the Entourage do. It's it really is something that's on a totally different level. We're like fucking Sicarios, dude. We got into a fucking city and it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's game over, mate. If we come to your city, it's game over, mate. It's game over. Because there is no competition, because 99% of guys don't even approach. The guys that do, they're not trained. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have other guys around them, like literally meticulously studying their approach. They don't have like mindset. They don't have anything, dude. If the Entourage come to town, you are far. It's not a competition at the end of the day. Like, I want everyone to get what they want. There's more than enough women to go around, but still, um, yeah, it's fucking mad, dude. It's mad. It's a madness. So it's an amazing thing to do. Um, yeah, do it solo, do it with a group. See if you can find, see if you can find a mentor. Um, and then the last thing I want to say, this is kind of related to cold approach. It is related to cold approach. It's the point I'm going to finish on, is female safety. Female safety. Local Florida man, I'm going to get this comment off. I don't like this comment. I know if you do coke, that's not necessarily to share that with me. But yeah, the last thing I'm going to say on this live, which is definitely a caffeine fueled, it's not coke fueled, it's definitely caffeine fueled. It's also hot as well today. The last thing I'm going to say on this live is about female safety. Female safety. So I've talked about dominance on the one hand, right? Dominance is not bullying women, though. It's showing a level of dominance and command, right? But there's also safety on the other side, right? It's the yin and yang, right? Both sides, okay? Female safety. So this is a topic that came up last month when the Entourage were in Barca. I know some new guys who joined were going out having all sorts of experiences, and one of the guys had a kind of situation with a girl where he was on a date with a girl, and then the girl messaged him the next day and said, look, yeah, I know we went our separate ways at the end of the night, but you didn't even fucking take me back to my apartment. That's a red flag. And the guys in the group were like, because they're just basically just not educated in this. I think everyone missed it. they were like, oh, it's just a shit test. She's just been a pain in the ass. And again, that's exactly probably what my response might have been at, well, not to this particular question, it wouldn't have been, but to a similar question 10 years ago when I was 29, I might have responded in a more dismissive way. I already said at the start of the live, I was very trigger happy with, oh, this is shit test or bullshit, get lost. I was very trigger happy with that fucking way too long. This particular lesson, though, I was schooled on this at 15 when I had my first girlfriend by grown men who told me, by grown men who told me. I remember leaving. I had an argument with my girlfriend. I left her in town. I just went home, and then I was like, I got interrogated essentially. Like, yeah. So you left a girl, a teenage girl. You left her at 10:30 at night in the city centre alone. I was like, yeah. And the guy was like, no, 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 no. Your responsibility. Like, she's not safe there alone, bruv. Yeah. You're probably all right there. 15 years old. She ain't safe there. You need to make sure you're with her until she gets on a bus. And I was like, it didn't occur to me because I was dumb. I was 15. I was stupid. And I'd also been raised by this stupid idea of equality, that women don't need physical protection and garbage. It never was. I was raised with the idea that men were equal. And if they're equal, then women don't need protection, which is complete fucking garbage, yeah? Of course they fucking do. What's her ability to defend herself? Zero. She's attacked. She has literally zero ability to. Me at 15, I probably could have done something. I was quite strong. I probably could have done something. Yeah, that's not to say I could fucking fend off like an army of fucking orcs from Yorkshire. No, obviously not, yeah? But could potentially do something. Be enough of a deterrent, right? And that's really all you are as a guy walking with a girl. You're just a deterrent, basically. You're a deterrent for someone trying to attack her. So the guy in the Entourage, he'd left the girl and he'd left her to go home alone. And she got off a few metro stops before him. And the guys were like, nah, she's shit testing you. I said, nah, guys, this is a very legit test. This is a very legitimate point she's making here, which is you have not taken any consideration for her physical safety, which the only people who can ensure a woman's physical safety are men. Yep. Other women can't ensure a woman's physical safety, and she can't ensure it herself. Now, the main danger to her physical safety is also men as well. So hostile men are her main danger, and friendly men are her main protection. It is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, to leave a girl to walk through a big city alone, not a particularly safe city, Barca's not. There are areas that are not that safe. It's not like terrible or anything, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's just not super safe. That's yeah. You can't do that, dude. You can't do that. You got to ensure her security. So that's kind of why I said to the guy and said to the group. So this is experience I've got that I was able to share through years of experience, and this is definitely true. You are responsible for the girl's physical safety while she's with you. You're not responsible for her rent. You're not responsible for, everything in her life. But you do have to take in some consideration for her physical safety. If you don't do that, in my opinion, you don't deserve to be considered someone she should really take seriously and be devoted to in any way at all. Like if the guy can't even take care of your physical safety, I'm sorry, like, what use is he? What use is he? Right? Now, does that mean you have to go out and learn jiu-jitsu and combat? No, it actually doesn't. Actually, all it means is, this is all it means. If you're out with a girl, okay, and she's leaving to go home, you order her the fucking Uber. You say, I'm going to get you the Uber, just message me. Make sure you message me when you get home. And when she's in the Uber, you track the Uber, not to be a stalker, but just to make sure she's okay. And then at the end, you just say, "Did you get home all right?" Fine. Yeah. You're making sure she gets home all right. Okay. If you're out on a metro somewhere, you just say to the girl, "Look, I'm going to come with you, whatever. I'll walk to your place." If she absolutely insists that you don't, what you then do is you say, "Well, I'm not really comfortable with you walking alone. I really would prefer to just walk with you just because I just want to make sure you're safe." That is literally it. But if it's really becomes a problem, then you say, "Okay, fine. Well, at least message me when you get home, and then please, or just if there's any issues, just call me. I'll keep my phone on." Okay, that'll be if she was really been a bit dumb with it and she didn't get it. Just ensure their safety. Okay, it will never count against you. It will never count against you if you ensure the girl's safety. As I say, if the girl is kind of doesn't really get, there's a lot of girls who are raised in very rich Western countries where they actually are totally unconscious of the level of threat that they are actually in. Yeah, I know this when I first started to go out. I remember going out and the girls would all be laughing and whatever. And we were like 16 years old. And I'm looking around. We're outside this club, it's pitch black. And I'm looking around. I'm seeing the kind of guys around. And I'm like, I know exactly what's going through his head. I know those fuckers over there. Those are serious guys over there. And the girls, it doesn't even register. They're just like having a few drinks, they're laughing, giggling away. I always remember, yeah, just being young, and I'm like, man, they've got no concept of the fucking danger that they could be in. It's not to say it's going to happen, but they could be. Yeah. So yeah, some girls is just kind of delusional, really. But it will never count against you. And I actually think even those types of girls, if you over time they do realize, because there's always situation, all it takes is they walk home alone once, and one guy follows them or looks at them weird, or something weird happens to them, and they're like, "Fucking hell, I am actually more vulnerable." Yeah, it's an unfortunate fact of nature. Yeah, and men, we are protective of them naturally. Like we are naturally protective of them. Ultimately, if we weren't, the species wouldn't survive. So we've got to make sure we fucking do that job. We've got to make sure we do that job. Um, so yeah, so this is female safety. So when you're, for example, it's the end of now if you're going out on 7 dates a week, you know, you might need to find yourself some kind of arrangement, yeah, because you're going to be spending a lot of money on Ubers. But yeah, as a general principle, this is a good principle, especially if it is a girl that you want to keep around. But I personally, I do it for all girls, to be honest. Even if I wasn't going to pay for the Uber, I'll say just message me when you get home. But this is actually another reason I don't like to run at this point. I don't want to run massive numbers of like a different girl every day. It's just like because that means I'm gonna have to go through this process every fucking day. I can't be bothered. Like one or two a week is fine. That's fine. I don't need this every fucking day. But yeah, that should be your routine protocol. Now it's interesting. You think, oh, is this really true? Like, it's true, bruv. It's true. This is how it is. This is how it is. Let me go back to one of those girls that I met in Club Wow. Right, we started going out, and later on we started dating, and we had a great vibe together. I remember a few years later, she was still. We separated off, and then I think she got a new boyfriend. And I just remember I saw it in a club, and then I spoke to her and stuff, and we went over to the bar. I think we are just gonna get a drink or something. I can't remember, just a quick catch up. And so it's fucking it's the bar was it's just the bar, man. It's a bar circa 2006 in the UK, and I could see something was gonna happen as these guys the fight starts, and there's fucking bottles been smashed, everything. So I grab the girl, I just pull her as far away as I can, just literally drag her like probably 10, 15 meters across the room. Yeah, because I mean, it was a proper fucking scrap, like a fucking scrap. I don't know how many, there's probably about 10 guys involved in it. My job is just to get her out of there and get me out of there. That's my security guard job. Yeah. And it was weird because then we kind of went and stuff, and then we went around the corner, and then we just like had a drink and everything. Um, Rafaela, take it easy. Um, and she got really upset, and she like put her head on my shoulder, and it was kind of like, I think what triggered it was the fact that I protected her. So she was an ex-girlfriend, and she was out, and then I think I triggered something in her psychology because I became that protector in a very visceral way, right? And I could see it affected her. Yeah, so that's a good example of that. That's a good example of that. Um, I know there's even other girls though, even later, like I was an academic I dated from Seville, or she was going towards being an academic, and I always remember like even months before I had anything with her, like her and her mates, like they were out with us, and I was like, guys, just let me get you the taxi, yeah, or let me call you a taxi. This was before Uber, and they were a bit blasé with it because they were academics. They were probably a bit in, whatever. But I was like, nah, this is fucking a rough city. Yeah, make sure. I think maybe even messaged the girl when she got back, and it was like, no great shakes, no big deal, right? I still think months later on, somewhere that seed was planted in her mind. This wasn't a friend zone thing. It was just I didn't see that girl very often, and then I saw her re-encountered her like a few months later, and we got something going on. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. How I got that girl actually was I changed the way I was speaking to her. I changed some very interesting things about my speech patterns. In because I only ever saw her in clubs, so I changed the actual dynamic of my voice. But yeah, female safety, and the guys in the Entourage have kind of been, they're very smart guys, and they just straight away they're like, yeah, that makes sense, and started applying it straight away. And Balthus, he was saying that he applied it like a couple of days later as a girl he was out with, and she was worried about whether to go home with him or not. She looked a bit panicked or something, looked a bit uncomfortable, and he said, "Look, you can come home with me, whatever happens. I'll make sure you get home safely. I'll call you the Uber." And then she just suddenly she kind of like melted away. She's like, "Oh my God, such a gentleman." And then went up with him. He probably, I think, spent the night with him, whenever it was. Rafaela, love, stop this. I'm gonna kick you out now. Get out of here. Yeah. Okay, so this has been tried by multiple guys. Our role as a protector. So you don't have to go out of your way and be an idiot with it. Make sure the girl gets home safe. The last thing I'll say is, if you're gonna go into, if there is actually, this is what you have to be willing to do. Okay, and ask yourself, are you willing to do this or not? Okay, you don't have to go and headbutt anybody, but if you were attacked by a group of marauding lunatics, would you just put yourself in front of that woman, so you were a human? Would you act as a human shield for her? And if the answer is no, why not? Why not? What, you want her to be your human shield, so she can get black eye and a broken orbital, and you can be nice. You can go and fucking powder your nose. You know, you can make fucking fairy cakes the next day. Come on, your job is to be a human shield. Yeah, your job's to be a human shield. This fat Canadian guy I used to know. He was a really cool guy, and he taught me a lot about women. I'm not going to go into any more details than that, but he was fat as fuck. And he taught me this concept of the human shield, and I was like, that's a great concept, bruv. That's exactly right. We were talking about safety, and he's like, he went into a lot of depth in it, probably because he couldn't provide any type of physical, he wasn't, he just couldn't fight to save his life. The guy was fat as fuck. And he said, yeah, basically I'm a human shield, and girls will feel comfortable with me. And he said there was one time where he got followed by a group of teenagers, and they'd been dickheads, and he turned around and he just shouted something loud. He used his voice, projected his voice at them. So the voice is very powerful. The male voice is your biggest weapon. It's a very, very powerful weapon. It can stun out people's brains. I'm serious about that. You just raise your voice at people from a distance, it stuns their brain out momentarily. Yeah. So that's what he did. But he was like, yeah, you can be the human shield. So that's the thing that you have to be as a guy. You're a human shield. And just accept it. Like, if you want your girl to cook, you want your girl to be sexy, all this kind of stuff, that's great. That's what I want. She gets to have a bodyguard service, yeah? Which means take care of her safety. I'm the human shield if necessary. Yeah. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do as a guy. If you do that, I'm giving you stuff here. Like, if you combine this stuff, the sexual dominance, the excitement, and kind of security, and now you're also, I'm talking about security as in consistency, and then you're also considering her safety as well, right? If you're combining these things, she is your girl. And this is why these idiots who say, oh, girls just flutter off. No, they don't, bruv. They flutter off if you're not providing these four things, or these are four massive pillars. And they're easy to provide. Then none of them are that difficult to provide. Yeah, sexual dominance, it's basic. Excitement, security, as in you're going to be around, you're planning for some future stuff. And physical safety, you assure her physical safety. It's insured. It's your basic fucking job. Man's basic job is protect women and children. Woman's basic job is have and raise children. You can say that's sexist. It's not fucking sexist. Without those two jobs, humanity would not have survived for 300,000 years. If men just looked at a woman and like, I don't give a fuck if she gets eaten by a tiger. If no men cared, then the women all get fucking, then women die of exposure. They just fucking die. Yeah, if no women have children, we don't procreate, we're fucking, or they just leave the children, they don't care for them. There's no species, is there? Those are the two things that we have to do. Yeah, get calories for both of us. Women have the children, men protect the women and children. If you can do that, you can at least move forward as a life form. Yeah. So when we're not, if guys are not doing that, it's because we're so distant from that world, but that DNA is still there. Okay, so we've got to do that. We've got to take care of that. Yeah, but if you're doing these things, first of all, most men these days are neglecting some of them. But secondly, even if other guys would do it as well, it's your girl, man. If you're doing these things for the girl, she is going to fucking fall for you, bro. Sexual dominance, excitement, security in future, and physical protection. Are you fucking kidding me? She's gonna fall for you, bro. She's gonna fall for you. Yeah? And you're just relaxed, calm within yourself. She's gonna fall for you, dude. She's gonna fall for you. Yeah? You gotta do these things. Yeah, you gotta do these things. So hopefully you found this useful. Yeah, there's a lot more to, relating to women than just approach. Approach is a thing I'm massively passionate about. It's this massive balls maxing fucking exercise that I absolutely love it. I love it so much. But there's a lot more to relationships and women than that. So that's why I wanted to come on and just fucking fire tonight. So I got a couple of hours in there. Happy with that. Yeah, if you want to find out more about my immersions and you want to get more in-depth stuff from me personally, because there's a lot of stuff, as you can probably imagine, a lot of stuff I can't go into on YouTube, to be honest, for obvious reasons, like sexual dominating. Do you know what I mean? There's a limit to what I can go into on YouTube. But if you want to, find out more about those services and you are serious about basically skyrocketing your options, but after that, actually having the ability to keep these women around, because guys, they learn to get girls and they realize, fuck, I don't have the slightest fucking clue what they really need beyond like one night. I can get them into bed, but that's about it. You actually want to know the real stuff. This is what it is. This is the kind of thing I can provide on the back end as well. So yeah, Calendly.com/wingbro. We'll leave things there for tonight, boys. I hope you have an absolutely fucking amazing week wherever you are in the world. Islamic from Pakistan, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother. I'm from UK, mate. I'm from UK. But yeah, have an absolutely amazing night, guys, and I will catch you on the next live.